Hello everybody. Organization and management of educational programs for children with special needs. Today under this we are going to deal with the topic curriculum adaptation, intervention and teaching strategies. The objective of this lesson is to understand about the curriculum adaptation and intervention and the teaching strategies. According to the Constitution of India, it is the right of every child, including the children with special needs, to get education. As an education policy, discrimination cannot be done on the basis of gender, disability, race, color, religion, marital status or ethnic origin in its educational programs or admission policies or employment policies or other agency administered programs. The most diverse learning needs can be met in general classroom when we have in our mind two guidelines. That is, that the student performance is the result of interaction between the student and the instructional environment. And the second point is that the teacher can reasonably accommodate most student needs after analyzing the student learning needs and demands of the instructional environment. In fact, the adaptation for specific students' learning needs may be beneficial to many other students in the same classroom. Adaptations are simply good teaching techniques put to use. The children with disabilities have the basic right to learn, and the teacher needs to provide appropriate and reasonable adaptations. Today, we are going to see the teaching strategies, the methodologies and the usage of the instructional material for children with special needs. For this, we need to understand what is curriculum. Curriculum means it is a set of course and their content offered to enhance or modify the knowledge or skill and attitude of the student. Further, a curriculum could be understood in different ways. Firstly, as a plan. A plan, it can be a written document. This plan should reflect the knowledge, skills, attitudes that any society chooses to pass on to their children. In their view, the curriculum should secondly be seen as a learning and teaching experiences that happen in any site of education. In addition, the way in which the educators would interpret a curriculum depends and it is highly influenced by the knowledge, skills and also beliefs of that particular educator, as well as by the context and conditions in which the educator finds himself or herself during the learning mediation. The curriculum comprises of certain components: the academic program, the practical program and the skill training program. This is about the curriculum. The students with special needs, they demonstrate broad range of learning, cognitive, communication, physical, sensory, socio-emotional differences that may necessitate adaptations to the general education program. Each pupil manifests his learning style and learning preferences in a unique way. Consequently, the type of adaptations needed and the program in which the adaptations will be implemented are determined individually within the individualized educational program. That is what we call as IEP, curriculum adaptations or modifications that relate specifically to instruction or content of a curriculum. These adjustments or modifications, they could be to the teaching and learning environment. The modifications and adjustment can be to the teaching and learning techniques. The modifications can be done to the teaching and learning support material that enhances the learner's performance or allows at least partial participation in a learning activity. The modifications can be done to the learning programs and the modifications or adjustments can be done to the assessment level. The evaluation procedures, the learning material should be disability sensitive, addressing the attitudes and needs of the other children in the school to ensure such interventions benefit all the children. It is important to have a holistic, comprehensive and intersect oral approach where all the pieces can be put together. Now, let us look at the assessment, grading and testing. Providing a quiet setting for test taking and allow the test to be scribed if necessary, and allowing for oral responses when and where necessary. Exempting the student from the district-wide testing if possible. Modifications can be done in assessment by dividing the test into small sections. Grade level spelling separately from the content. Modification can be done to allow as much time as needed to complete the test. Another important way of assessment can be avoiding the time of the test. Change the percentage of work required per passing the grade. Permit retaking the test. Providing monitored breaks from the test. These are some of the ways by which the changes or modifications can be done in assessment of the child with special needs. Let us look at some of the principles of curriculum adaptations. The curriculum adaptations for the children with special needs for providing effective opportunities for all children can be based on three main principles. First one is setting suitable learning challenges, responding to the children's diverse learning needs, and overcoming the potential barriers to learning and assessment for children and group of children. Curriculum for all. Curriculum for all means the curriculum should be child-centered. Children with disabilities need this child-centered curriculum because it takes into account the individual needs of the child. The curriculum needs to set specific, observable, measurable, achievable, relevant and timely. And the curriculum should be flexible. A flexible and locally relevant curriculum or the teaching learning strategies should be intrinsically important for the children with special needs to participate in the educational process. And the next one is that the curriculum should be participatory. The children with special needs require a learning environment in which they can actively participate in learning in small groups. Partnership with parents. Partnership with parents is the key factor as the children learn not only in the classrooms but also at home. For children with visual, locomotor, hearing impairment and intellectual impairment, addition or deletion to the general curriculum is required. But for children with a intellectual disability, a holistic curriculum considering the child's abilities, skills and interest by implementing an individualized educational program will be effective. This is all about the curriculum adaptation. The teaching learning material, it should enhance the learning skills of the children with disability focusing on their specific needs. Teaching learning material should encourage contact between the student and faculty, develop reciprocity, cooperation and encourage active learning, prompt feedback, emphasize time and task, communicate high expectations and should respect diversity of talent and learning in students. The TLM, that is the teaching learning material used should not only be appropriate according to the needs of the child, but also it should be according to the child's IQ level and the chronological age of their child according to their gender, culture, family background, etc. The teacher should also keep into consideration the safety of the child before preparing the teaching learning material. For example, the material should be rounded without any sharp edges while preparing for a child with locomotor disability, and do not keep knife, scissors or blades openly in the classroom. The TLM, that is the teaching learning material, should provide information through multi-sensory approach, that is the audio, visual, tactile and kinesthetic approach. Let us have a look at the adaptation of instructional material and methodology. Most often, the classroom teaching is dominated by the lecture method of the teacher, except some essential aids like a chalk, duster, blackboard and teaching learning materials are hardly used in the classroom. Then used it may be, it is not context specific. One of the major aims of the NCF, that is the National Curriculum Framework, is designing, providing for and enabling appropriate teaching learning systems for the construction of the knowledge. The teaching learning material for a visually impaired child should be enlarged, and the activity script, the directions or readings of the detailed lesson can be used for a low vision person and for use in describing the tactile 3D models. The teaching learning materials should be use a overhead projector to show step-by-step instructions and mask all the instructions except the ones that you want them to follow. Use an opaque projector whenever possible so that it enlarges the text or manual. All colored objects used for identification related to the lesson, experiment or other directions should be labeled with Braille label marker, or otherwise it can be coded. Describe in detail all the pertinent visual occurrences or chalkboard writing. Wherever needed, have a lesson or direction materials in Braille or use an enlarged activity script ahead of time for the class handouts. Have tactile 3D models or raised line drawings or thermoforms available to supplement drawings or graphics in tactile format whenever needed. Whenever possible, use actual objects for 3-dimensional representations. Modify instructions for auditory or tactile presentations. So, these are all some of the adaptations that can be done to a teaching learning material when you are dealing with a child with special needs having visual impairment. There are many practical strategies that can be effective in a classroom. It is up to the classroom and the special education teacher to ensure that appropriate strategies are being used in the classroom to assist the individual learning style and provide success to all the students with special needs. It is recommended that a multi-modal approach be used with a visual, auditory and kinesthetic or tactile sensation for optimum success. Classroom environment. Delivering an academic program to a room full of unique students is certainly a challenge. Implementing some of the strategies listed can be comfortable for learning place for all students regardless of their academic abilities. To create a healthy classroom environment, it is important to remember that proper physical placement of the child in class is very important. The behavioral management of the child, the time management and transition, the teacher should interaction and reciprocity, and the peer support, all these should be considered when we are having a classroom arrangement. Let us look at each of this in detail. The physical placement. while the good room arrangement is not guarantee of good behavior, poor planning in this area can create conditions that will lead to problems. Therefore, the teacher must be able to observe all the students at all times and to monitor their work and behavior. The teacher should also be able to see the door from the desk. Frequently used areas of the room, the traffic lanes should be unblocked or unobstructed and easily accessible. The student should be able to see the teacher and as well as the presentation area without undue turning or movement. Commonly used classroom material like the books, attendance register or any other reference material should be kept readily available for the student. Some degree of decoration will be helpful so that it add attractions to the classroom. A properly lighted classrooms without noise restriction is advisable. This is all about the physical placements. Now, after having understood the physical placements in a classroom arrangement, let us have a look at the behavioral management. Avoiding confrontations and power struggles. Providing an appropriate peer role model. For behavioral management, it is necessary to modify the rules that may discriminate against students with some type of disorders. Develop a system or code that will let the student know when the behavior is not appropriate. And behavior management can be done by ignoring attention seeking behavior that are not disrupting the classroom. Arrange a designated safe place so that the student can go to it. And it is important to develop a code of conduct for the classroom and visually display it in an appropriate place where all the students can see it and review it frequently. This is all about the behavioral management. Time management and transition. Space short work periods with breaks. Provide additional time to complete an assignment. Allow extra time for homework completion. Inform the students with several reminders several minutes apart before changing from one activity to the next. Reducing the amount of work from usual assignments and providing a specific place for turning in the assignments. All can be done for the time management and transition adaptations for children with special needs. Then comes the teacher-student interaction and reciprocity. Rapport formation, building trust among the students for the teacher and motivating this child with special needs as and when required. Seating arrangements should be in such a way that the teacher can have a eye contact with all the students, and the teacher should be aware about the strengths and weaknesses of each student along with the children with special needs. The teacher should provide appropriate reinforcement or reward to the student while accomplishment of the target behavior. Next comes the peer support. The learning and playing teaches them togetherness. Peer tutoring helps the child with special needs to understand the topic very effectively. Motivation and cooperation from the peer group is expected by the children with special needs. The peer support will help to erase the feeling of hostility among the children with special needs. Curriculum has to be transacted through the textbooks. Hence, while developing the textbooks, it would be important to make them inclusive. The textbooks would have to be developed in a way so that the particular concept can be understood by diverse group of learners in a classroom. So, some of the guidelines. Providing every student with a textbook is not enough if the print medium is inaccessible to the students with various disabilities that may be because of the physical, sensory or cognitive barriers. For example, providing a textbook in print format is a barrier for a student with dyslexia. and it can be totally inaccessible to a blind student. Technology now enables the textbooks to be accessible through conversion to accessible electronic formats. These formats provide greater flexibility for meeting the needs of the students with disabilities, since the digital format can be read out by the computer or the screen reader or printed on a braille printer. Developing teaching learning materials like the pictorial form of all the textbooks for the students with hearing disabilities, which will be ultimately helping not only the hearing disabled child but also the other children alike. Developing and providing access to e-text versions of the print material can be done. Electronic textbooks can also be developed that have animation and sound and provide links to several items and suggest associations among the ideas. This allows the students to interact with the material, which is especially helpful for the children with special needs. The textbook should allow the children to hear the text spoken out loudly. The textbook should also be displayed in custom color and combinations with different fonts and in large sizes or in any of these combinations. The teacher education stands out as a key factor in bringing out the changes towards the inclusive schools. With more and more children from disadvantaged groups being a part of the mainstream education system, the classroom teacher has to assume a greater responsibility in implementation of the inclusive practices. The teaching in the classroom must facilitate equal and diverse participation of all the students in the learning activities, so that advantages and disadvantages of a particular student can be avoided. Teaching in a classroom must facilitate collaborative learning by using appropriate techniques, which can be peer tutoring or group learning, etc., and incorporating the teacher facilitated and structured learning environment with appropriately designed routes in the context of the children requiring individual support. As and when necessary, specifically designed furniture, fixtures may be provided for minimizing the physical and mobility barriers and appropriate seating and positioning arrangements. These are some of the guidelines for textbook changes or modifications that can be done to meet the needs of child with special needs. The international experiences have shown that developing curricula for students with special educational needs is particularly challenging, both in terms of the content methodology, and should minimize rather than emphasize the difference, while at the same time it should facilitate integration into the mainstream education wherever this is appropriate. Moreover, those involved in special education, either in mainstream or in special school, they need a common vocabulary with which to describe the educational experiences of the students, and also to facilitate a communication between the parent, teacher and other professionals. The guidelines developed to cater for the students with mild, moderate, severe and profound general learning abilities will be flexible enough to be accessed by a broad variety of school and class types. They will allow for the choice and have a practical life skills orientation that addresses both the present and the future needs of the students. This also addresses the assessment issues with a view to provide an accurate record of the students' cognitive and attitudinal strengths, and also to identify clearly the opportunities for future learning. So, today we have understood about the curriculum adaptations, developing the teaching learning material so that it will be suitable for attending the needs of the special children. and also we have seen the classroom arrangements that can be made and also the modifications that are necessary. In a nutshell, we can say that the concept of the mainstreaming of the disabled has gradually been taking root in the education system. While such a step is eminently desirable in larger social perspective, the teacher needs to acquire special abilities so that she can identify the ordinary needs of the individual child, develop among themselves and appropriate management skills in a class comprising of the children with diverse levels of learning abilities, and the use of special equipment to adopt the special instructional methods and materials in a normal educational curriculum, so that it suits the situation and above all displays a human approach in handling the children with special needs. It is hoped that today's lesson will help the students to understand and develop a sense of awareness regarding the requirements of the children with special needs, and also will translate the same into effective method of instruction. Hope you have understood the lesson. Thank you.